Hello everyone. In today's instructional video, I will be showing you how to customize your own faux leather bracelet with an adjustable wristband. You are welcome to substitute the materials with ones that you have, but this tutorial uses the following items. For this DIY project, you will need a ruler, a pair of scissors, a pencil, preferably a lead pencil or a pencil with a sharp point, faux leather, you can decide what color, a 1/8 of an inch hole puncher, string. Again, you can decide which string you prefer, but I recommend using hemp or leather cord as it complements the style of the bracelet. And last but not least, you will need a wood burner. I will be using the walnut hollow wood burning tool with the shading point. For the second step, you will need to make sure that the shading point is already attached to the wood burning tool. Then, plug the cord into a power outlet to allow the tool to heat up and set it aside. As a warning, this wood burning tool does heat up to 950 degrees Fahrenheit, so secure the tool and keep it out of reach, especially from children while it is not in use. Also, carefully unscrew the point with pliers if the tool is already hot and you want to use a different point. For more safety information about the tool, please refer to your product's instruction manual. Now, these are the materials that you will be needing for the next couple of steps. I have 2 shades of leather, but we'll be using the lighter color so that the design is more easily seen in this video. After you have chosen the type of leather that you would like to use, measure and cut out a rectangular piece of leather. It should be long enough for the wrist of the person who you are making this bracelet for. The size that I have measured and recommend is a 2¼ inch by a 1/2 inch rectangle. Remember also that you have the liberty to shape it the way that you would like. But here is the cutout of the piece of leather that we have made for this tutorial. Now, use your circle hole puncher to make an incision point on each end of the leather cutout. The incision point should be approximately 1/8 of an inch away from the ends. Note that if the leather you are using is thick, like the one in this video, the hole puncher will not go through the material all the way. It'll actually be quite hard. The hole puncher will just make a mark of where the hole will need to be, as is shown here. For the next step, carefully grab your heated wood burning tool and burn through the leather at the incision point made by the hole puncher. To do this, you should place the tip of the shading point in the middle of the mark and twist the tool in a circular motion while applying pressure. You can turn the leather over and make the same motion to break through the material. Note that you will be holding the piece of leather in your hands, so be careful and keep your fingers away from the heated tool. Also, make sure that you stay within the mark made by the hole puncher so that you do not accidentally burn any other parts of the leather. The hole should be at least 1/8 of an inch big for the strings to go through it in the next couple of steps. This is what it should look like afterwards. Now that the frame is made, and that you know how much space you have to work with, grab your pencil and sketch out your personalized message or design onto the leather. A lead pencil is recommended because of its thin point, allowing your design to be more precise. Next, use the wood burner to engrave your personal design or message onto the leather. You do not need to apply much pressure when tracing over your design, since the tool is extremely hot and will make smooth lines. However, do note that the darker the leather, the less color contrast there will be between your material and what you have drawn, meaning that you will be less likely to see your design on a darker platform. Now, choose the type of string you would like to use for your bracelet. As I mentioned before, I do recommend using hemp or leather cord as it complements the style of the bracelet, but you have creative liberty to decide which material and color string is best for your project. For this tutorial, I will be using a dark brown leather cord. For the next step, gather the string that you would like to use for your bracelet. Extend it out and measure a 12-inch long cord if the person has a small wrist. Increase the length to 14 inches if the wrist size is larger, and repeat and cut another strand. Now that you have the cords, create a lark's head knot at each end of the leather, as is shown here. To do this, we will face the leather upwards. Grab one cord and insert both of its ends through one of the holes. Next, pull the strings down from behind the leather so the loop is closer to the hole. Then, grab the ends of the strings and pull them through the loop that was created in the previous step. Here you have the lark's head knot at one end of the leather. You will want to repeat this process for the other side as well. Now that you have attached the cords to your leather, you want to make sure that the ends stay aligned. So, for this step, you will want to tie the loose ends of each string together with a general knot, which you just loop around and pull the ends through. Do try to make sure that the knot is as close to the end of the string as possible. That is, so you do not waste much of the string. Now, you will want to repeat the process for the other strands. Here you have both knotted ends. Now, to make the adjustable wristband, you will want to wrap a general knot around the opposite strings, as is shown here. To do this, start by wrapping the first cord around the second, like this. Cross the first cord over itself. Tuck the end of the first string behind the loop and pull the end of the string through the hole. Make sure that the knot is very close to the end of the string. Now repeat the process for the second string and make sure all knots are tightened well. This has created an adjustable wristband for the bracelet. You can pull on the individual knots to expand or tighten the wrist size. You will probably notice some long loose ends at the end of your knots, so you will need to cut them shorter. Do not cut them all the way near the knot because you will want to leave a small reserve for the next step. For this step, you're going to use the wood burner to melt or burn the excess string towards the knot, as is shown here. This will secure the knot and prevent it from unraveling in the future. Note that this process will emit some smoke, so be careful with inhaling the fumes. And now you're all done! You have created your own personalized faux leather bracelet with an adjustable band. Thank you for watching my tutorial, and I hope you enjoy your product.